Alright, the state of play for Borderlands 4. So, I know I'm not really doing content on Borderlands just yet, because Borderlands 4 isn't out, but I decided I would load up Borderlands 2 on the character that I've been playing on stream that you'll probably see in a upcoming video, and talk about just what I thought about the state of play for Borderlands 4 and kind of the things that they talked about and the drama that's kind of going on right now because Randy opened his big mouth again. So, I'm going to talk about some things that I liked about the state of play and some things that I didn't like about the state of play. One of the things that I both like and didn't like was the Digi-Runner, which is the personal summon vehicle similar to Destiny, how it has the Sparrow system. It seems like your character in Borderlands 4 can just summon a vehicle, which is, albeit, pretty nice. But one thing I do hate about Borderlands games with certain maps, so in Borderlands 3, it's whatever planet Jacobs is from, the very overgrown planet, and then in this game, it would be probably this open tundra area coming up. There's just a bunch of areas in Borderlands that I feel like they make this really big map and there's not a whole lot there. And I hate that we have to have vehicles to go through it all. As much as I would love like a Borderlands that's open world and everything, I don't want the world to be open if it's empty. That being said, it didn't look like tremendously empty. It looked like there was a good bit of stuff going on. It also seemed, let's see, it also seemed like there was kind of just a lot in certain areas, and then that brings me to like the next thing was the movement. So there's lots of new movement tech. They have like a double jump, they have a grapple system, a glide system, and there's just like a lot of different things. And one of the things they had was like a balloon that you can, a zip line you can launch yourself into the sky with and go elsewhere, which reminded me a little bit of Fortnite, which I'm fine with. So the new movement stuff is all a great addition. I love more movement. I love the movement in Destiny, the ability to shatter skate, well skate, all those different kinds of things, all those weird, cheesy things that you can do are all really nice in my opinion. So I'm definitely a big fan of all of that. The one thing that I did notice that I wasn't a big fan of, talking about this, is some of the movement, how slow it looked. So I can't show you in this game because you can't slide in Borderlands 2, but it seemed like the slide was a little slow. I don't know, I feel like the sliding in Apex Legends is better than that. Could be wrong, but the sliding just didn't feel great to watch. So while I am excited, and I'm definitely here for better movement tech, I don't really know. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited for more movement if it's not good movement. But again, it's just like, we saw it for a minute. It could be a lot more than what it seems. It could have been just the dev's field of view. His field of view could be set to really low, which made it seem like he was moving a lot slower than he was. So, you know, I'll take that with a grain of salt. So, map design, again, I want to touch on that because I was talking about the vehicles and the movement, and I hate when they have these big maps and it's just empty space. So, map design seemed like it was fine in some areas, but again, as long as the movement is good, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of empty area because you're not going to spend a lot of time going through it. And that's one of the worst things I hate about Borderlands 1 is how much I have to drive and just walk around through just empty area. It's the worst part about these games for me. It's the worst part about Borderlands 3. It's the worst part about Borderlands 2. The whole part in Borderlands 2, which we probably won't see in this, whenever you have to go and visit Ellie and go through the desert area, and then you have to drive through the tundra and honk at the gate. Just all that in a vehicle. Pretty much anytime I'm in a vehicle in this game, I don't like it. But with the ability to customize your vehicles, it might not be so bad if I can make like something super fast that handles really well That way I have to spend as little time in a vehicle as possible because I hate spending time in vehicles in this game. So there's that. That's a lot of the big things that I saw out of the way. Like just some positives. Personal difficulty, so you can play on any difficulty that your friends don't have to play on with you. I hope that means like you don't have to play the game 40 times. I'm pretty sure you probably do, but I would like to not have to play True then Vault then or sorry, what is it? It's True then Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. I'd rather just play through it once. But if the story's good, I guess I won't complain. They also talked about respawnable bosses. You'll be able to do that through some kind of kiosk or some kind of system. As long as that doesn't cost any kind of currency, that's cool. But if it does cost some kind of currency, people are just going to save quit as long as that works. So they didn't say anything about that. That's just me, touching bases. Like it's a good idea, but as long as it's just like, hey, click this button to resummon the boss while you're in this area and the boss spawns in, we're good. If there's anything else to it, it's gonna be kind of trash. And then that leads to, okay, the personal difficulty, which we touched. Your friend can play on hard, you can play on easy, whatever, or True Vault Hunter Ultimate, whatever that is. And then they also have independent loot back, so that's good. So, you don't have to worry about someone stealing your legendary that you got to drop, because I guess either it just drops for you or you both get a version of it, something to that effect, which is nice because Borderlands 2 was filled with duping, because if you got a good drop, you didn't want to have to farm that again, and you guys would just take the same one and then split it amongst you all. So that's a pretty positive thing there. Let me get Claptrap out. And then we're also looking at, let's see, hang on, let me get rid of some of my notes, the ones that I've already talked about. Movement, map design. Alright, we also have, so Legendary Chase is back. They talked about how Borderlands 3, they were too abundant, making them, fun to get now. That's cool. I'm always here for that. I definitely don't like just getting my stuff for free, as nice as it can be, but it ruins the replayability. Basically, once I get what I want, and I can destroy any boss in a matter of seconds, why am I going to continue playing? The point of Borderlands for me is to get as powerful as possible, as fast as possible. So Borderlands 3 was really good for that, but the chase ended very quickly. So with Borderlands 4, ideally, the chase will not be super quick. I'll get the stuff that I want, and by the time I get it, there'll be like this other cool thing that's out that I can grind for, stuff like that. So I'm here for it. All good stuff there. With that, they've also said that there's, well, from what I saw on Twitter, this wasn't in the state of play, but I saw that there is no crafting in Borderlands 4. No crafting whatsoever. Which I think I made a video on how they should add crafting or something of the sorts. I definitely made a video talking about how they needed a reroll system, and I'm going to stand by that. I do think Borderlands needs a reroll system because it's, you get trash perks or anointments and it can completely ruin your weapon. And I'm not saying like it needs to be free or anything. It should be incredibly expensive, and it should be incredibly expensive to do these rerolls, or like, enough to where you're just not going to be able to do tons and tons and tons unless you're like really farming hard. So that's something I hope that they decide to add. There's no word on it. I also said that they should add like more stuff to weapon manufacturers, where if you use this weapon so much, you get like bonus loot for them, bonus drop chance on certain parts. It's easier to get parts on certain weapons because you want perfect parts, yada yada yada. There's a whole video on it on the channel. It'll be, when this is a YouTube video, it'll be in the little iCard at the top. And they didn't do that. They added like manufacturer mods, so you can enhance your weapons by using a Jacob's mod, by using a Maliwan mod, a Vlad Off mod, Hyperion mod, whatever. You will be able to do that. So that's cool. Not exactly what I would have wanted, but anything that furthers build crafting, regardless of how small it is a bonus for me as someone that likes build crafting. So we have Build crafting. Them skill trees are a lot bigger. I'm here for it. Bigger skill trees, the better. One of my favorite things that I did while doing content creation was making my Borderlands 3 guide for Zane, and it was really funny because it got picked up by, I forget his name. Is it Jolt's dude? I think maybe got picked up by him, and I there's no shot he saw my video, but just to know that I made like a build as like I've always just loved the build crafting, and I made one that ended up being used by one of the biggest YouTubers in the genre, and I got a lot of hate for it because people were saying that I stole the idea, but it was such a cool thing to know that people were using the same build that I was. Like I was able to make like a top tier build, and other people were using it and liking it. Whether they saw it from me or not, it was pretty much like almost identical. I think we had like maybe two things that were different. Amazing. That was so much. That was like great for me because build crafting in this makes so much sense to me compared to Destiny. Destiny's like I have to read way too many words, and in Borderlands, like while yes, it is a lot of words like here, there's a lot of stuff, but the highlighted words make it so much easier. And at the very bottom, you can see where it's in like green. It just tells you exactly what it does. This is exactly what it does. You just have to read above where the criteria is. So it's super easy to read, and I've always loved that about Borderlands. So hopefully that continues because they didn't go over the entire skill tree. They just went over the different action skills at the top mainly. So hopefully it's still easy to read, pretty comprehensible. But I'm here for that. More build crafting is always bonus. And then finally, for that, oh, just 2 quick points. Split screen's returning. Why that was taken away, stupid fucking idea. I'm sure Borderlands 3 couldn't handle it as dog as that game ran. And then crossplay, which I thought was going to be added to Borderlands 3, or thought was added to Borderlands 3, but I don't know. I saw someone on Twitter. This could be completely false. Saw someone on Twitter saying first Borderlands game that's going to be crossplay. I know that it was talked about for Borderlands 3. I don't know if it actually was or not. But regardless of if this is the first time or not, Borderlands having crossplay is great. Gonna have to assemble a multi-platform squad just to see how well it runs whenever it comes to playing crossplay. Alright, and then finally we have the Ordnance class, where they took away rockets. I don't know how I feel about that, just because of moments like this. Like this would be a moment where I'd want a rocket launcher, and if I can't pop my Ordnance while I'm in Fight for Life, kind of screwed. I also don't know where my rocket is. I haven't played on this character since I streamed this game 6 months ago. So, but yeah, I'm definitely excited for Borderlands 4. It's gonna be $80. Releases in September. I'm not excited about that price point at all. But Randy said that if I really love it, I'll pay that anyways. So, and you know what, Randy? You're not wrong. Because you could have marked a $100 price tag on that game, and I still would have had to have bought it, because this is like one of, if not my favorite series, despite how poorly the last 2 games have made me feel about the franchise as a whole. It was still going to be a game I was going to pick up regardless of the price point. So, does this game have full damage? Nope, just Borderlands 1. I also don't have my weapons in the correct slots, it seems, while I'm doing this, so I apologize. But, yeah, so everything about Borderlands 4 so far seems great, other than Randy opening his mouth. But, you know, I've never seen eye to eye with Randy on pretty much anything that he's ever said. so that's not surprising. And I am honestly surprised that Randy still kind of runs it, just because he is often the center of Borderlands controversy and drama because he says something stupid. Um, but I'm not gonna really spend too much time on that because I'm very opinionated on just the fact that I don't like Randy. So like, it is what it is, or what he says when he opens his mouth. He's fine when he's not talking. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Borderlands 4 looks great. Um, graphics, I mean, look more Borderlands. It's really vibrant, which I think some people hated from Borderlands 3, how bright it was and stuff. I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter to me. And then I think that's pretty much it that they showed off in the state of play. You have like some kind of health kit or some kind of stem that you can have, which is nice. Um, yeah, I for once have nothing bad to say about Borderlands. Oh, actually, I so people are talking about no mini map. That's fine, whatever. If it's a big map, there's no mini map. That's fine. That will be annoying whenever you get to an area that's like this was just now, clearing out Liarsburg, and there's one enemy that I can't find because he's like stuck behind that building, or he's like hiding behind that box shooting at a wall because AI is just dumb, and yeah, I don't know where he's at. So as long as that doesn't happen, I'm fine with it. I also saw whenever they opened up this screen, you see in Borderlands 2, there's like a little startup to it, and it is choppy, but I think that's just the game. I don't think that's how the game runs, because like Borderlands 2 is so old, there's no way that's just how the game runs. You see, it's kind of like a little PDF flies up here. It's just how laggy it is, but that that's always been fine. Borderlands 3 was atrocious. I don't know if it ever got better, but Borderlands 4, when they pulled up the menu, they had like a little screen that popped up, and it kind of like at least they were playing with the PlayStation controller. I don't know if they were playing on PlayStation Network. I don't know if they said. Considering it was a state of play, I would assume it was played on the PlayStation, and it looks like it actually ran pretty well. So nothing, nothing bad to say there either. So it, you know, I'm hopeful. A lot of things look good, and I hope that it is, because I'm critical of games like Borderlands and Destiny, because they're games that I either loved or still love and want to continue playing them, but I don't want to play the game if the game isn't fun. And when organizations make poor decisions, companies make poor decisions about their games and how they play, it's not enjoyable to play. Therefore, I'm going to bitch about it because I'm not having fun playing it. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to spend $80 on a game that I'm not going to enjoy playing. So I want it to be good. So I'm going to bitch about it if there's things wrong with it. And I think probably in the past of for Borderlands 3, I was overcritical. I'll admit that I was overcritical of it in the past. The game has aged better now. I'm still not a fan of the story. It's just not as bad as I originally made it out to be. And that's probably because like that's what everyone was saying. But the story's still not good. I'm not gonna go back and say that it is good. And the lagginess of the menus and the UI and stuff, that I'm not changing my take on that. That is atrocious, or was. I don't know if it still is. So I'm definitely overcritical of Borderlands, but that's because it's like one of my favorite franchises to play. And I'm looking forward to Borderlands 4 and hoping that I'm not throwing away $80 on a game that I'm going to play through once, because like that's really the last thing that I want, is to only play it once. Because whenever I play a game and you look at it from like a minimum wage standpoint, that means like it was an average game. So if you make like, I know federal minimum wage is like $7. So if you get, 10 hours out of it, you got your money's worth if it was a job. But for me, if I can spend, if I spend $60 on a game, I want to get 60 hours out of it. And most games, I try to get all my money out of it. And hopefully, $80 game, I need to get 80 hours out of it. And one of the things that I don't want it to do is to be like Borderlands the pre-sequel was, where it's like, here's this map. We need you to go over here, and then we need you to go back over here, and we need you to go all the way back over here with no vehicle, and then you got to go all the way back over here, and then you got to go all the way back, and then you get to unlock this next area. Like, just the running back and forth in the pre-sequel, the inflation for the story was horrendous. And I don't want Borderlands 4 to have that. But, again, that's just me coming up with stuff that there was nothing like that in the state of play that I'm going to know. We won't know any of that for a while until like the game probably actually comes out unless somebody gets their hands on it early. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. I am cautiously optimistic, cautiously hopeful, however you want to say that. But uh, I'm also not going to expect the best game ever because if I'm being honest, Gearbox has let me down more than they've impressed me. Because while the pre-sequel is one of my favorite games to play as far as like the movement and stuff because it was really nice at the time, it has horrible replayability with no bosses. I mean, they said the bosses were coming back, so that's not gonna be a problem. But you know, it just had a lot of problems with it. But in terms of movement, it was my favorite game. And then we have Borderlands 2, just feels the best. It plays the best, and it has decent movement. Like this movement of me sprinting looked better than the Borderlands 4, but again, it could have been the field of view of the dev that was playing. And with Borderlands 3, it was the lag. Like I said, the pre-sequel was the trash design, I guess, in refarmable bosses and stuff. And then we also have... Oh, you're armored. And then we also have... Oh, I killed them all too early because when Claptrap gets down here, they're going to respawn. That's literally how this always goes. And then we have Borderlands 1, which is just slow and just not fun anymore. Like, it's taking me the longest out of my series to record because of how just slow the game is in general. Like I said, cautiously optimistic, but I've been burned more times than I've loved what they've made. So, uh, while I'm trying not to get excited and expect too much, I can't help but get excited because, again, my favorite series. Uh, so, hopefully, all the things that I was worried about aren't going to be a problem. And I guess we'll find out in a couple of months, whenever, 4 months, when the game launches. So, in 4 months, come back to this video and let's see if I was right. Is the writing as bad as Borderlands 3? Is the movement as bad as Borderlands 1? Or, there's no way it goes that bad. But, like, is the movement bad, or is it actually as good as it looks on there? Like, kind of how far off with worrying about what they were gonna make am I? So come back in 4 months. So by September 20th, I'll have my final review for Borderlands 4 out probably, because I'm probably gonna beat it day one just so I can make a video on it. And I know I say that, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you're not gonna enjoy it if you just speed run through it." I've done that with every Borderlands game, and while that probably did taint how I felt about the pre-sequel, just because I got through it, or it took like forever to do, and it felt like I didn't do anything because the game has such bad pacing, and it's like just lots of inflation to the story because it's not actually story. It's just run over here, run over there, run over here, run over there, run over here, run over there. Like it's like mailman delivery simulator. Like that's pretty much what that game is like. So speedrunning it's just not fun, and that's probably why I didn't enjoy that originally. And Borderlands 3, I don't think me speedrunning it had anything to do with bad story or not enjoying it. I think bad story just was the problem because that was the previous game's problem too. So, anyways, this has been a long rant of me playing Borderlands 2 and talking about the state of play and everything. I'm cautiously optimistic. I really want this game to be good. I really do. I I can't stress that enough. I know a lot of people hear me dog on Borderlands. They're like, "Oh, you just like to hate on it, yada yada yada." Like, no, I really enjoy the franchise, and Jesus, I really want it to be good, and I I don't know. I just need a game to play. I want a game to play again. Borderlands 2 used to be my shit. Borderlands pre-sequel, I played for a good bit, despite it not being the greatest. Borderlands 3, I played a decent amount, not a whole lot. Like, I have 8 days just on one character, and that's when I had to restart Borderlands 2 because I lost my save files. And I don't have all characters maxed out, which is something like I want to do because I enjoy this. I enjoy Borderlands 2 so much. But you guys should get a Borderlands video every single month until the release. One single video, one single Borderlands video a month, unless something else happens, we get some more footage or something. Um, until Borderlands 4 launches, and then you'll have Borderlands 4 content until I don't find it fun, or Eternity if it's a good game. So, fingers crossed on Eternity. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next Borderlands video. Deuces.